Hello, my most amazing artists. Last week we mixed up the colors of us, which meant that we mixed up the color of our skin tone. We did that by mixing red, brown, yellow, and white all together to get a combination that matched our unique skin color. Now that paper has since dried on the drying rack and is back today for us to use. But first we're going to talk about looking at a picture of ourselves. We are going to be drawing a picture of ourselves looking in the mirror. It's important that when we have that mirror on our table, we do not touch the mirror because as you can see, I'm being a little bit silly, but I am the only one allowed to touch the mirrors because they break very easily and are very expensive. Make sure that you do not touch it, and if you need to move it, you can ask Miss Q. Now today we're going to be creating our very own self-portraits inspired by the artist Frida Kahlo. Frida Kahlo was known for making self-portraits that looked pretty realistic. So today we're going to be inspired by her and draw our self-portrait looking in the mirror to help us find the unique features of us. Drawing a picture of us always starts with a face shape. I'm starting with a big letter U. Then you notice I create a neck, but I don't want to have a lollipop stick neck. That means that it looks like my head's being held up by a lollipop stick or a little tiny neck. Your neck needs to be large enough to support your head. Same thing with your shoulders. You don't want hill shoulders that go way up. You want them to be just relaxed. Then you can draw your ears. Your ears could be the letter C and then the letter C backwards on either side of your head. And I'm going to look in the mirror and find something called my hairline. You'll notice that your hair sits on top of your head. It is actually attached to it instead of just laying right on top. So even though it's on top of your head, it does attach all around your face and even around your ears. So you want to make sure that you draw that shape of your hair starting at the hairline and then coming up, around, and down. Notice I'm drawing only important outlines today, just the most important lines in my face, like the eyes. The eyes of your face actually start at your middle of your face. They aren't way up by your forehead, so make sure that you put your eyes around the same place as your ears on either side of your face. To draw my eyes, I started with a football shape. That's also known as an almond shape, or the fancy word for it is an ellipse. Then I put a circle inside of that football shape to make my iris of my eye. That's the part for the color and where it'll go when we paint. When I'm making my nose, I am trying out different types of noses. This is why I'm practicing in my sketchbook, so I can figure out which drawing of these different body parts are the best for me and what I see in the mirror. I'm going to decide that I'm going to do that nose, and it's on that paper if I need help drawing it. There's all different kinds you could do, but today we're trying to make realistic looking self-portraits and not so much the L nose that we're used to drawing, no circles, no full shapes. Your nose is attached to your face and isn't its own shape. It comes out of your face, and we want to show that by just showing the most important lines. If you would like to add some eyelashes or little details, you could, but other than that, we're just drawing the most important outlines, leaving room on the inside for color later on. I'm not coloring anything in with pencil or Sharpie today. I'm also starting with pencil so I can always erase and practice different kinds of drawing in my sketchbook. The bigger I draw, the easier it will be. I'm making sure that I'm practicing all different kinds of eyes, ears, nose, and mouth, and even hairstyles. You don't have to show the same hairstyle that you have today in class. You could draw your own using these examples on your guide sheets. I'm starting in my sketchbook to practice first. Once I've had enough practice, then I'll be able to move on to my big painted paper that we did last week. But I'm going to practice one more time just to make sure that I have got it. I can practice on the front and the back in my sketchbook as long as I'm using pencil. So again, I draw that big letter U shape, I draw a neck, my shoulders coming off the page, my shirt, my eyebrows, my eyes, my nose, and my mouth. I'm making sure to fill my space, meaning that my self-portrait takes up the majority or most of my paper. I'm not drawing anything teeny tiny today. My head should be near the top of my paper and my neck should be near the bottom. My shoulders should be coming off the sides of my paper. Now, if you have any details or accessories like glasses, that's an important part of you that's unique that you would want to show in your self-portrait. So today is all about practicing a self-portrait. If you're having trouble drawing big enough to fill the whole page, you are welcome to use a head and neck tracer. That way you know that you can draw big enough and that you have a place to line up those eyes around the ears. You can draw that hairline on and then put your other details on there. So remember, your eyes don't go in the top of your head, they go right in the middle. Your hairline might fill that space at the top of your head, but otherwise you're going to be putting your eyes in the middle, eyebrows above, nose underneath that, and then your mouth. Your mouth goes right under your nose, not all the way near the bottom near your chin. When you've had enough practice and showed Miss Q, then I will give you your painted paper. When you get your painted paper, remember you only have one that we painted our skin color on. So you want to make sure that you're drawing very lightly and only with pencil. You should not be using Sharpie today, unless Miss Q has checked and said that you're good to trace. I'm drawing light till I get it right, drawing lightly with my pencil just in case I need to erase. I could trace that head if I want to, or I can draw on my own. That's up to you. I decided I wanted to draw that letter U really big on my paper and then connect the head and shoulders. Then I'm really taking my time to make sure that I get the placement of my eyes, my eyebrows, my nose, and my mouth just right. Remember, this is a self-portrait that represents you, so you want to make sure that you include the unique things that look like you. So also you want to show the emotion that you want to feel in your self-portrait. I think that most of us, when we take pictures, usually smile. But if you don't want to be smiling in your self-portrait, Frida Kahlo wasn't always smiling in her self-portraits. Sometimes she showed that she was sad. It is up to you, but just remember that these self-portraits will be on display for our families to see in our art show. When you are finished outlining only the important lines but not coloring anything in, then you can raise your hand at your seat and have Miss Q check to see if you're ready to trace with Sharpie. When you're tracing with Sharpie, I'm only going over top of the most important lines that I did a great job drawing. I'm taking my time as I go, even though this video is fast forwarded. If your Sharpie starts to get scratchy and isn't working, that's because we're drawing on top of a painted piece of paper. Sometimes the Sharpie gets clogged up by the paint if you're pressing too hard. So make sure that you're pressing lightly and only using the large Sharpie. Do not use the fine point tiny Sharpie for this project because it will not work on this painted paper. It will get stuck in the paint and stop working. So I'm only using the big Sharpie and drawing very lightly to make sure that ink comes out over top of my lines. Then when I'm done tracing, I can go ahead and erase any pencil lines to clean it up. When I'm erasing, I'm always erasing in my safety zone of my letter L. If I pressed lightly enough with my pencil when I was sketching the lines, then I don't need to worry about having to press too hard to erase. It's very important that when you're drawing with pencil, you are lightly sketching out your lines. Then you'll draw them over with Sharpie. If you press too hard with your pencil, it's going to be very difficult to erase them. If you press too hard with your eraser, you could take away some of that paint that we worked so hard on mixing up the color of us. Now I know it's going to be tempting to color in your self-portrait today, but please make sure that you wait until we have paint to do it next week. I cannot wait to mix up our hair colors, eye colors, and add those details. And we're even going to get to add details to your own shirt and decide to whatever you want to color on it. So today when you're finished, you're going to put it in your table folder nice and safe so that we can get it back next week. Remember, today the first step is going to be to practice in your sketchbook. Make sure you're holding your paper vertically, meaning up and down, just like I have mine here to the left. You want to make sure to use that full space and not hold it the other way. Then you're going to be looking in the mirror to find your contour lines or the most important unique lines of your face and draw them in your sketchbook to practice your self-portrait. Make sure you get your head, your neck, your shoulders, your eyes, eyebrows, nose, and mouth in there. Then you're going to go ahead and draw lightly on your paper only after showing Miss Q your sketchbook. Draw very lightly on that painted paper and then you can outline in Sharpie when you're ready. All right, awesome artists, have fun today.